For 5 years, he terrorized armored car crews across the Southwest. This is how the FBI finally caught him. On January 12, 2015, federal agents issued an arrest warrant for Raymond Castellano. The charges painted a terrifying picture: armed robbery of 6 armored vehicles, aggravated assault on federal employees, and weapons violations. In just 15 months, Castellano had stolen over $2 million and left 2 guards with permanent injuries. Castellano's background made him uniquely dangerous. A former Army mechanic with 2 tours in Afghanistan, he possessed advanced knowledge of vehicle systems and tactical operations. Federal investigators would later describe his heists as military precision operations, executed with ruthless efficiency. The first robbery occurred in Tucson, Arizona, in October 2013. Castellano had studied the armored car's route for weeks, identifying a vulnerable intersection near a construction zone. When the Brinks truck stopped at a red light, he disabled the vehicle's engine with surgical precision, then used smoke grenades to disorient the guards. In under 4 minutes, he escaped with $380,000. The pattern was always the same: meticulous surveillance, military-grade equipment, overwhelming force. Each heist grew bolder. In Phoenix, he disabled 3 police cruisers responding to an alarm. In Albuquerque, he used homemade explosives to create multiple escape routes. Security footage showed a man who moved like a trained soldier, his face always obscured by tactical gear. By January 2015, Castellano had struck targets across Arizona, New Mexico, and Nevada. His final heist in Phoenix netted $520,000, but left guard Marcus Rodriguez in a coma for 6 weeks. The violence was escalating. The FBI's Violent Crimes Task Force classified him as armed and extremely dangerous. "This isn't some desperate criminal making mistakes," said Special Agent Patricia Valdez of the Phoenix Field Office. "This is someone with advanced training who's declared war on our financial system. He will kill to avoid capture." The manhunt for Raymond Castellano had become a federal priority. After the Phoenix robbery on January 9, 2015, Raymond Castellano simply vanished. The armored truck he'd targeted sat disabled on East Indian School Road, its guards recovering from pepper spray exposure. But the man who'd terrorized the Southwest's financial corridors had disappeared like smoke. The FBI Phoenix field office mobilized within hours. Special Agent Valdez assembled a 40-person task force, coordinating with field offices in Las Vegas and Albuquerque. Federal investigators immediately focused on Castellano's military connections. They contacted his former unit commanders, interviewed Army mechanics who'd served with him, and monitored veteran support groups across 3 states. The initial leads seemed promising. Castellano's sister in Tucson reported a strange phone call 3 days before the Phoenix heist. His former roommate at Fort Hood mentioned suspicious questions about armored vehicle security systems. But every lead evaporated under scrutiny. The sister's caller ID showed a number traced to a prepaid phone, purchased with cash in a Las Vegas convenience store. The roommate's story changed under polygraph examination. Surveillance footage proved equally frustrating. Highway cameras captured a modified pickup truck fleeing the Phoenix scene, but the license plates were stolen. Traffic cameras throughout the Southwest showed similar vehicles, but none could be definitively linked to Castellano. The FBI analyzed hundreds of hours of footage from banks, gas stations, and hotels. Nothing. Castellano's financial trail had gone cold months earlier. His last known bank account was closed in September 2014. Credit cards, cell phone contracts, utility bills, all abandoned. According to federal investigators, he'd methodically severed every digital connection to his former life. Agents pursued his military benefits, thinking he might still collect disability payments. The Veterans Administration confirmed he was entitled to monthly compensation for a service-connected injury, but the checks remained unclaimed. "He's living completely off the grid," Agent Valdez reported to FBI headquarters. "No digital footprint, no financial activity, no contact with known associates." After 6 months of intensive investigation, the trail had gone completely cold. Raymond Castellano had vanished into the vast southwest desert, taking his military training and $2.3 million with him. The FBI's strategy was methodical and patient. Agent Valdez's task force established a command center in Phoenix, coordinating with federal agencies across the Southwest. They offered a $500,000 reward and featured Castellano on America's Most Wanted. Billboards bearing his photograph appeared on major highways from Los Angeles to Denver. Months turned into years. In March 2017, the FBI added Castellano to the 10 Most Wanted list. The case had consumed over 15,000 investigative hours and cost the Bureau nearly $3 million. But federal agents refused to give up. Every day this man remains free. Armored car crews face mortal danger, Valdez told reporters. We will find him. The break they'd been waiting for came in June 2018. Security cameras at the Bellagio Casino in Las Vegas captured a man matching Castellano's height and build at a high-stakes poker table. The facial recognition software flagged a 78% probability match. Within hours, a SWAT team surrounded the casino. But the man at the poker table was a construction worker from Utah with no criminal record. The FBI had spent $95,000 on surveillance and tactical operations, only to arrest the wrong person. The embarrassment stung, but Agent Valdez remained determined. He's out there, and he's getting comfortable. Comfortable criminals make mistakes. The next close call came 10 months later in Albuquerque. A veteran at a VIA medical center reported seeing Castellano in the pharmacy waiting room. FBI agents flooded the facility within 20 minutes, questioning staff and reviewing security footage. They found evidence that someone matching his description had been treated for chronic back pain under a false identity. Medical records revealed crucial intelligence. Castellano was suffering from service-related injuries that would eventually force him to seek treatment. Federal investigators began monitoring pain clinics, veteran hospitals, and medical marijuana dispensaries throughout the region. We're not just hunting a criminal anymore, Agent Valdez explained to her team during their weekly briefing. We're hunting a wounded veteran who needs medical care. That need will be his downfall. After 4 years, the FBI was learning to think like their quarry. The net was slowly tightening. In September 2019, everything changed. A confidential informant contacted the FBI's tip line with information about a veteran living in a remote trailer park outside Flagstaff, Arizona. The man matched Castellano's description and had been asking suspicious questions about armored car schedules at a local diner. Agent Valdez treated the tip with cautious optimism. Too many leads had disappointed them over the years. But this informant was different. A former military police officer who'd served in Afghanistan and recognized tactical behavior when he saw it. This guy's watching everything, the informant reported. Memorizing guard patterns, timing delivery routes. He's planning something big. The FBI's response was immediate and careful. Rather than risk spooking Castellano with obvious surveillance, they developed an undercover operation. Agent Michael Torres, a decorated Marine veteran, would pose as a disgruntled ex-soldier looking for criminal opportunities. His cover story was perfect. Discharged for misconduct, bitter about veteran benefits, desperate for money. Torres frequented the same diner where Castellano allegedly gathered intelligence. Within 3 weeks, he'd initiated casual conversations about the unfair treatment of veterans. He complained about the government, mentioned financial difficulties, and hinted at willingness to do whatever it takes to survive. The strategy worked. On October 15, 2019, a man approached Torres in the diner's parking lot. Died. He was thin, weathered by desert sun, with the alert eyes of someone constantly watching for threats. You talk too much, the man said quietly. But maybe we should talk more privately. Federal surveillance teams watched from a distance as Torres followed the stranger to an abandoned gas station outside town. Recording equipment captured their entire conversation. The man identified himself only as Ray, but his voice matched audio samples from Castellano's military service. He was planning another armored car robbery, this time targeting a Wells Fargo transport that carried casino deposits from tribal gaming facilities. The net was closing. After 4 years and 9 months, the FBI had found Raymond Castellano. Agent Valdez authorized round-the-clock surveillance, while Torres continued building the criminal partnership. "We have one chance to get this right," she told her team. "He won't make the same mistake twice." On January 15, 2020, Raymond Castellano walked into an FBI trap. He'd arranged to meet Agent Torres at an abandoned warehouse north of Flagstaff, bringing detailed plans for robbing the Wells Fargo armored truck. What he found instead were 30 federal agents in full tactical gear. "FBI, get on the ground." The warehouse erupted in controlled chaos as SWAT teams moved in from 3 directions. Castellano froze for a moment, his hand moving toward a pistol on his hip. Then his military training kicked in. He recognized an overwhelming tactical advantage when he saw one. He raised his hands and dropped to his knees. "I knew this day would come," he told Agent Valdez during his arrest. "I'm tired of running." Federal agents discovered an arsenal in his trailer. Assault rifles, body armor, homemade explosives, and detailed surveillance photographs of armored car routes throughout Arizona and New Mexico. Most shocking of all, they found $1.80 million cash, buried in waterproof containers around his property. The arrest made national news. After 5 years and 3 months on the run, one of America's most wanted fugitives was finally in custody. Agent Valdez appeared at a press conference, flanked by FBI Director Christopher Wray. "This manhunt represents the very best of federal law enforcement," Wray announced. "Patience, persistence, and the refusal to give up on justice." Castellano's trial began in September 2020. Federal prosecutors presented overwhelming evidence. Surveillance footage, forensic analysis of his weapons, testimony from the guards he'd injured, and his own recorded conversations with Agent Torres. The defense argued for leniency based on his military service, but the jury wasn't swayed by attempts to excuse his violent crimes. On December 18, 2020, federal judge Maria Santos sentenced Raymond Castellano to life in prison, without possibility of parole. "Your military training was meant to protect this nation," she told him. "Instead, you used it to terrorize innocent working people. You will spend the rest of your life paying for that betrayal." Today, Raymond Castellano sits in ADX Florence, the federal government's most secure prison. The $1.80 million recovered from his property was returned to the armored car companies and their insurers. Agent Valdez received the FBI Director's Award for her relentless pursuit. The 5-year manhunt was over. Justice, at last, had been served.